Alright. 1, 2, testing, testing. How's our audio levels? Let's check in real quick. Alright. 1, 2, testing, testing. That sounds fine to me. Okay. Very good, very good. Back at it again, everybody. Thank you for joining. This is your pal Minsk. We're continuing today Stories from Seoul. The Gundog. Huzzah! Good to have you here, whether you are popping in here live now or you are in fact watching this VOD later on. Here we go again, everybody. I wonder how much of this game is left, honestly, because as I understood, this wasn't supposed to be a huge game, but I've put in like 10 hours by now, I guess. I do take things pretty slowly, don't I? So, yeah, that'll do it, but yeah. Last time we played a little bit short because I had some kind of narcolepsy state or something there, like it started to go a little haywire there. Yeah, I'm still a little embarrassed by that, but yeah, today, hopefully I will do better. Yeah, hopefully we don't have what it was like last time, so hopefully I can do a nice couple hours of streaming today for you folks' enjoyment. Yeah, like, that was crazy last time, honestly. Like, that one point where I actually went, like, a bit cross-eyed and, like, my eyes shut, and I just completely... I was mid-sentence reading a line, and I just completely fumbled the line. That was kind of crazy, honestly. And now that I think about it, that I was that zonked out. I don't even know why I was so, but... Today, I should probably be doing okay. I did, honestly, I did not get much sleep last night, not even for a very good reason. I stayed up too late watching the Wing Commander movie, so that kept me up a little bit too late than I should have, so I did not get a whole lot of sleep. But I have already had a nap today, quite in a bit of a coma state, I would say. But after that, I've also had some hearty pasta. So I don't know if that's going to induce a second round of enormous narcolepsy in me. I don't know. Well, we'll see. But we'll get into it. We'll get into the game, do we? Should I really quickly say something about the Wing Commander movie, since I don't have Gundam to like give reports on here at the start of the stream? All right, I know you probably didn't ask for this, but real quickly, thoughts about the 98? 99, something like that, like just before the Matrix Wing Commander film. I thought it was actually an alright movie. It's quite maligned. I think the complaints about its poor special effects are fair. Like, even for its time, it didn't look very impressive. But I thought honestly, the drama is quite similar to this one here, so I kind of like those parts. The on board the spaceship kind of military antics drama. I don't know. I quite like Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard in the main roles. I think the woman lead woman in it. Oh, I forget her name. Her character was called Angel. I think her story was a little underbaked in that movie. Like, they didn't explore enough of the, like, burden of command that she was dealing with their previous leader having died, as squadron leader. So I think that was kind of a sore spot there. But I thought Matthew Lillard and Freddie Prinze Jr. did a fine job, and, then there's stuff like David Warner and David Suchet and... Jürgen Prochnow are like those big names in there, and they're a delight, I think. So yeah, I think it's all right. Oh yeah, and the Kilrathi really do look pretty. Like, yeah, that was a bit of a bungle. Pretty smart of them to try to keep them hidden in the shadows as much as they could. I wonder if they could have almost done like the Reavers in Firefly and just have not show the Kilrathi at all, just show their spaceships or something, maybe. But like, there were those couple of tense scenes, like when they board the Kilrathi comm ship, and then those couple of shots, in the final chase. Well, that final chase was very hard to follow. I feel like I was very confused. Like, wait, hold on. Now I thought they were jumping onto the Earth sector, but now they're where the Scylla thing is. What is good? It kind of, the movie kind of didn't know how to end itself with the action scene, so I thought that was kind of a bummer. But yeah, no, it's not a particularly impressive movie in summation, but there isn't a lot of those kinds of space combat drama films. I guess it's more the realm of TV, like serial television, I guess, but having a nice little film like that's a little bit rarer, so, you know. We'll see. I don't know. Supposedly the live-action Gundam thing is still going on. Fingers crossed that will be nice, so looking forward to that. Hopefully it'll give the same vibes. But today, we are doing Stories from Seoul, so let's just get back into that, everybody. That's my latest save. Wait, no, that's not. This is... What? No, that's not right. Wait. This is right after... We played this. This is like right after... This is like right after... I already played last time further, yeah? Oh my god, hold on. Oh, shoot. When does this quick save now? This quick save's even older, right? Because it's July 7th. Oh, no. I was looking at the month wrong. It's June 9th. July 7th is the newest. Okay, whoo! Okay, I was actually like, did I forget to save at the end of last time? No, I got confused. I was looking at the months wrong, and I just, wow, there was really a month. There really was a month between me being unable to record, because, like, yeah, June was really, really busy for me. That's right, yeah. Alright, let's back that up. Let's load up that save. This is where we left off. So, having wrangled that giant robot weird thingy from the O'Brien, we are now on a tense situation on this ship. We need to return back to the main colonies and report our findings. I believe, we were just like doing like a little security check, and I believe last time I did try to like go absolutely everywhere. Only a couple of spots we could go to that I haven't gone to, I think, is our own room. If we really wanted to. But yeah, we can basically go... Otherwise, we can go to... the captain and, like, give our report. Everything seemed to be doing okay here, you know? Maybe just a few seconds of sitting down. Oh, wow. No, come on. I've got a patrol to finish. Interesting, I didn't realize that was an option. My quarters light switch. Should I use it? You know what? I've had enough of being in the dark for one day. Fair. I thought for a second we actually did get something extra there, but yeah, I guess not. You quickly cycle through the various systems on your terminal, checking that everything's working as normal. As far as you can tell, it is. That is, until you enter your credentials to check your electronic mail. Oh! Jeez, what's going on? That's an unusual sound. You try selecting various functions, but nothing responds. This is the wrong color for the font, by the way. That's like supposed to be read aloud text. You try selecting various functions, but nothing responds. In a panic, you mash the keyboard, but nothing works. See, that's the text it should have been. Then, as unexpectedly as it has started, the noise ends. What was that all about? You make a few more experimental choices, and everything seems to be working as normal again. Well, I guess that's something to ask Chief about. Alright, I guess that's all we can do in our room. Now, let's go back to the thoroughfare and to the other crew quarters corridor. Yeah, I think we talked to everybody. The only people we couldn't talk to was Hansen, who was being... oh, and the doctor, because the doctor was operating on Hansen, so we couldn't do that. We could only talk to Cassie, who was still in the sick bay. And everybody else we went through, I'm pretty sure. I finished checking out everywhere the captain wanted me to. Since I'm here, should I report to the captain? Oh, by the way, big little detail, by the way. The vent hatch was popped next to the elevator leading up to the bridge. That was kind of weird. And then just in case, we popped into the computer room, the main computer room, which is only accessible with high security key cards, but we still got Cassie's key card, so we were able to access. And it kind of looked like someone was in there and jumped into the vents. So I'm constantly anticipating that we're gonna have to alien/Die Hard it in the vents in a bit. But so far not yet. But yeah, something is up. I think it's really good that I went there and got that encounter. That might be some kind of flag you need to get some kind of thing in this game. If there are any flags for alternate stuff in this game, I think that was one of them. But yeah, let's see if we report to the captain about that. I finished checking out everywhere the captain wanted me to. Since I'm here, should I report to the captain? Yeah, let's just report in. I was thinking of going into Cassie's... Well, I guess, hold on. Not just yet. There's still a few things I want to check out. I guess, yeah, can we just go into Cassie's room? Yeah, let's really quickly. After you input the passcode to Cassie's quarters into the terminal outside of her quarters... That's an awkward line. The door slides open smoothly and you step inside. Aw, sad music. Used to be really fun music here earlier. You know that Cassie is still in the sick bay, but it feels comforting to be in her quarters. Really, because I'd be getting I'd be getting a heart attack from this mess. This, I looked at first, was a printer, a big old laser printer, but I'm pretty sure it's a suitcase, but I don't know why I thought that. The faint aroma of her perfume hangs in the air, and as you look over the possessions she's left scattered around, the memories that you had attached to them come flooding back. You look across to the terminal and notice that underneath everything, it's active. That's weird. Cassie's not been discharged from the sick bay, so she couldn't have come here to access the terminal. Besides, no one else aside from the captain and me have access to her quarters. That's weird. We're gonna have to take a look at that in a sec, methinks. Must be my imagination, but this room seems a little bit messier than the last time I was here. But Cassie's still in the sick bay. Maybe it was the shocks from that thing's attack on the gun dog knocking things loose. So, whoever I suspect snooping around here on the ship, have they been snooping in Cassie's room? That's messed up. If she's in sickbay much longer, the bed there is gonna end up looking like this. Hey, there's us! Look at that, that's cute. Once we're back at Europa, I think Cassie definitely deserves a trip to that water park she mentioned. This was something, by the way, that I did check when I was, after my first stream, I was like, what if you pick a different pronoun for your character? Will the character art change at all? And yes, in fact, yes, this is one of the things where you will see a different character. I chose the she/her for the other save, and I quickly checked, and there was, in fact, a blonde, kind of Sailor Mass-looking lady here instead of the androgynous them Saul that we're playing with now, with this cool pompadour / mullet thing. I love it. I really like this photo. They're cute. Alright, well, let's start using some stuff. Can we? Okay, it just does the same thing. As if I've got time for a break right now. Besides, the next time I'm in this bed, I want Cassie to be in it too. Oh, okay. I could lose an entire day to tidying up this room, so I'm not gonna start now. Alright, but now saving the most important for last. What's going on here? As you take a closer look, you can see that both her emails and personal logs are open. Why would these be open? With a few commands input on the keyboard, you close down the active session and shut the terminal down. Hey, that's actually pretty good guy Saul there, not snooping on Cassie's private documents. Appreciate that. Anything I need to get done, I can do it in my own terminal. Yeah. Well, that's bloody mysterious. I'm glad I did pop into Cassie's room real quick. Well, for a second I was like, there's gonna be nothing there, but oh yeah, then I remembered the whole thing, and then it was, in fact, the sneaky person sneaking into vents business. Alright, let's go report to the captain, and we'll figure things out from there. Well, I've not found anything that really needs reporting, but there's nothing else I need to do right now, so I should let the captain know I've finished my patrol. After briskly making your way to the captain's quarters, you find yourself stood outside her familiar, insignia-marked door. You're about to knock to announce yourself, but before you can, you instead move your hand to cover your mouth as you let out a loud yawn. Jeez, okay, suddenly game is matching reality here, I guess. That sounds like me a couple of weeks ago. You stop midway through your exhalation, interrupted by a twinge of pain in your neck as you'd raised your arm. Oh yeah, whiplash from the giant robot fight. Yeah. You roll your neck a few times, but this does nothing to shift the discomfort that you're now feeling. It seems like the painkiller the doctor had given you is beginning to wear off. Let's take some hydration in the middle here, everybody. Gotta take care of that too, everybody. Ugh. You sigh, which quickly turns into the previously interrupted yawn. God damn it, stop talking game too much about tiredness. I don't want this to, psych me out into being tired in real life. The tiredness which you'd been doing your best to ignore since you'd returned to the Gundog was now hitting you hard, and you were suddenly very aware of the physical and emotional toll the past few hours had taken on you. As you feel exhaustion spread through your body, you hope that after you make your report, the captain would command Haru to take over the security detail, whilst you got some rest. Being mindful not to aggravate the pain in your neck further, you slowly raise your hand and tentatively knock on the captain's door. Enter! You hear the captain announce from the other side. Okay, well, she's, in a better state than the last time we were the two of us in this room. That's good. Ah, Lieutenant Schutzhund. Have you finished your patrol? You shut your eyes briefly and draw in a deep breath, mustering the energy to engage with the captain. Yes, ma'am. And? You release the breath slowly. Conversations with the captain could be exhausting due to how little effort she seemed to put into them, and right now you felt a very real need to conserve your energy. Having visited fire control, the bridge, and the engine room, aside from the existing issues with the long-range communication system, sensors, and NPEs, there's nothing new to report. With the exception of a few minor technical issues that appear to be the result of our battle with that craft, I can't find anything untoward or immediately suspicious. There's no sign of any intruder that I've been able to observe. That's not true! Oh my god, this was supposed to be our time to point out the sneaky sneaks all over the place. I see. So everything's in order? You clench your jaw to stifle a yawn. As you catch a glimpse of the captain's bed in the annex that serves as her bedroom, you find yourself desperately craving your standard-issue bunk. On the patrol route, at least, yes. Good to hear. You do your best to stifle another yawn, willing the captain to dismiss you. In that case, Lieutenant... You relax slightly, awaiting the order to finish for the day, and pass the torch to someone else. I want you to head to the sickbay and get an update on Ensign Cruis' status. Yeesh, okay. You tense up again, the prospect of immediate rest now pulled out from under you. Ensign Cruis, ma'am? Yes, Lieutenant. When I'd previously spoken to Dr. Rosarium, he'd advised that the procedure should have been finished some time ago, and Ensign Cruis should be ready to resume duties shortly after. I need to brief Ensign Cruis on his new responsibilities, but I'm yet to hear anything from the doctor. So, Lieutenant, I need you to head to the sickbay to find out what the delay is. Understood? You had allowed your weariness to creep over you, but it had been bearable because of the expectation that once you'd reported to the captain, your duties would be done. Now, though, with another task foisted upon you, it felt almost overwhelming. With a Herculean effort that you hide from the captain, you throw a swift salute to acknowledge your new task. Yes, ma'am. Understood. Very good. Dismissed, Lieutenant. You maintain your posture until you've left the captain's quarters, but as the door closes behind you, it's all you can do to not slump to the floor. This must be the last thing she has for me to do today. There's no way. You sigh deeply and pinch the bridge of your nose, taking a moment to wallow in your exhaustion until you feel ready to face this latest challenge. Alright. Let's go. Well, I don't think there's any point at this point to go around and review or, interview everybody else. So I think we might as well just go to the, sickbay right now. Let's a test. Try to go to there. Oh, no. The game actually shepherds us to just go there. Got it. As soon as I've checked in on Hansen for the captain, I can get some rest. I can do everything else after I've had some sleep. Alright, there we go. Right, so the game even wants us to just beeline for the sickbay, so let's oblige. Oh, interesting. Got an animation. I don't think we've had that regularly when going to the sickbay, but sure. You lean back against the rear wall of the elevator and shut your eyes, savoring the brief moment of relaxation that comes from resting on the cool metal of the wall and listening to the gentle hum of the elevator's movement. You stay this way, seconds away from drifting off to sleep, until you feel the elevator begin to slow. You wearily open your eyes and push off the wall, standing upright. You lazily bring your hand up to your eyes to shield them from the harsh glare you know will come from the sickbay's lighting. As your eyes adapt to the light, the first thing that catches your attention is a glitter-like shimmer from the floor at the far side of the room. Apparently very blinding, look at this screen. Once your vision is adjusted completely, you realize that these sparkles are caused by the high-powered lights reflecting off fragments of broken glass that are scattered all over the floor. Eh? Oh, shit! Well then. Oh, I'd love to compare to the O'Brien, just to see, is this just reused? Are the glasses smashed the exact same way they were on the O'Brien? It would be a clever reuse of assets, but yeah, what a very similar sitch from what we had on the derelict ship. Except, of course, the person knocked out is different now. Well, this is bad. Doctor! Ooh, action music. Slumped over his desk is Dr. Rosarium. As you approach him, the dread is replaced with nausea. You see his one organic eye remains open, staring straight downwards, but devoid of life. He's killed?! We actually lost a crew member! Oh shit, could I have prevented this somehow? Oh god. Doctor! Damn it! You quickly draw your electroshock weapon as you look over to the bed with Cassie on it. Cassie! Seeing her lying still, you move swiftly over to check that she's alright, and feel a rush of relief as you see her chest rise and fall. A shiver runs up your spine as you hear the sound of someone stepping on broken glass behind you. You hold your breath, wait for a single second, and then swing around, bringing your gun to bear on where you heard the noise coming from. As you swing your arm around, it's immediately intercepted, stopping its arc before you can aim at where the noise behind you had come from. Oh my god, this action sequence... I guess I should have expected, but I didn't think it would be happening so soon, some kind of escalation on this ship. The signs were all there, but this is crazy. All you have time to process is a fist flying towards you, striking you square on the chin. There's nothing you can do but stagger backwards. Within a second, you're unconscious. Oh yeah, after all the weariness we were dealing with earlier, a little love tap like that will probably put us down for a bit. Yeah. Uh-oh, I don't know who this is. Wake up, Lieutenant. I said wake up, Lieutenant. Yeah, I don't know who this is. I'm sorry. I hate when the games do this, like when I'm reading dialogue, you know. Oh, it's Vanessa. I should have guessed. Asleep on the job. You and your girlfriend are too much alike. Lord, what's... Finally, I was beginning to think that you decided to copy our Lieutenant Commander and play Sleeping Beauty for the rest of the mission. Cassie! Is she? Ugh! In the same moment that you sit up quickly, a lance of pain strikes you in the base of your skull, and you wince, gritting your teeth and squeezing your eyes shut. I wouldn't make any sudden movements if I were you. We found you knocked flat out on the floor of the sickbay. Looking at the way you fell, you must have taken a serious blow. Okay, at least she admits that we got, like, clonked. Like, it was not that, like, we actually just fell asleep on the job, which I would have really hated if that was the case. Shame. It's not like we've got a doctor to deal with that kind of thing anymore. He's really dead. Good lord. Moving more slowly, this time, you bring yourself upright and maneuver so that you're sitting on the edge of your bunk. You keep your head bowed as you tentatively feel the back of it where you'd hit the floor. Dr. Rosarium. He's... dead. You must not have got a good look at him, but someone pulled his plug. Kind of funny one. Okay. Lieutenant Lord, that's enough. What about Commander Quinn? Is she... What? You don't want to know more about the doctor? Aren't you already planning your investigation? Shouldn't you be asking me if there's any information that might help you find the... You turn to look Vanessa straight in the eyes, your face a stern expression of disapproval. Just tell me how Commander Quinn is doing, Lord. She's unscathed, Lieutenant. As always, she somehow managed to come out of things absolutely fine. Absolutely fine is not how I describe the, like, rapid onset coma she went through, you know, earlier, so, you know. We've moved her to her quarters for the time being, to keep her secure. Good. Okay. You rest your elbows on your knees and place your head in your hands, massaging your temples in an attempt to reduce the pain that had traveled up your neck and into your forehead. What happened? I went into the sickbay and saw Dr. Rosarium at his desk. Went over to Commander Quinn, and then... You remembered spinning around to aim your electroshock weapon at whoever had been behind you, but you hadn't managed to get a good look at them before they'd knocked you out. I got knocked out. What happened after that? Well, lucky for you, Ensign Cruis was in the surgery wing waking up after his procedure. See, this is what I was wondering, like, I was expecting it was gonna be Hansen sneaking up behind us, and we were gonna be like, hey, don't hit me, man! And like, you know, but we never did. It was more violent than I expected it to be. But, you know, could it have been Hansen? For now, I'd say that's maybe a red herring. It seems, I don't know that Hansen, you know, because Hansen's the obvious antagonist. He's very antagonistic to our hero. But, like, that just seems from a storytelling perspective to be a red herring in this situation then, so, yeah. He saw the silhouette of your fight through the glass and hit an emergency alarm. Although whoever it was managed to escape before Cruis could make his way out of the surgery wing or anyone else could get there. That makes it twice that he saved you this mission. Maybe we should be promoting him to head of security instead. You roll your eyes at the thought whilst cringing internally. Having Hansen to thank for your survival was becoming an uncomfortably common occurrence. Well, we helped him out that one time too, from the elevator. And we stuck around waiting for him, We didn't leave him on the O'Brien. That's good. So, what's the current situation then? Do we know? As you go to stand up, the same pain from earlier returns, and you sit back down, wincing and rubbing your neck. Unfortunately, Lieutenant, no. We don't know anything. With our head of security taking a nap and everyone on high alert at their stations, we've not managed to have the chance to investigate. But don't you worry, Lieutenant Schutzhund. We've got Ensigns Cruis and Romney taking care of security operations until you recover. The whole ship's on lockdown at the moment. All clearance is restricted purely to necessary duty areas for each crew member, and access can only be granted from within the room if someone else wants to enter. So, the captain's happy for you to take your time to recover. If Captain Bartermuse doesn't want me back on duty immediately, why are you here? Lieutenant, we're crewmates. Can't I stop by to check in on your recovery? That smirk, though, I don't like it. What? You shoot Vanessa a stern expression, raising your eyebrow but staying silent. Oh, fine, Lieutenant. I wanted you to understand the full stakes of what's happening right now. We're stuck out here with no communication system. Our doctor is dead. Our lieutenant commander is inconveniently out of action for the foreseeable future. We've got a hostile craft sat in our hangar. And with all this going on, our captain's guidance is to just lock things down and carry on. Considering the circumstances, you think she'd go with a bit more of a proactive approach, wouldn't you say? Lord, what are you getting at? Nothing, Lieutenant. Don't worry about it. Ooh, I don't know. She was talking a little bit, mutiny-ish earlier, if you folks recall. So, what she's planning here, I'm not sure. For now. I just wanted to make sure you were up to speed on current events in case you needed to make any decisions. That's all. Anyway, take these and get some sleep. You react with a start as Vanessa throws a small packet of painkillers to you. You catch it and turn it over in your hands. You notice the box is slightly crumpled and pull a small fragment of glass out from where it had been lodged in between the box's tabs. Huh. That's weird. Sounds very, very adventure gamey. Have a glass shard. Wonder if we're going to use that for something. We'll be needing you, Lieutenant. Soon. You look up from the packet just as Vanessa turns to leave the room. Without saying anything else, she exits your room and steps into the corridor beyond, with the door hissing shut behind her soon after. Once Vanessa is gone, you take the opportunity to look over the packet again before placing it down next to you on your bunk. You make another attempt to stand up, although you are more cautious about it this time. Ugh! Despite how gingerly you had risen to your feet, the pain in your neck had still reappeared before you were even upright. Ooh, this is starting to sound like a severe concussion. I'm a little worried for Ensign Schutzhund, or Lieutenant Schutzhund here, Why did I say Ensign Schutzhund? That's weird. We know he's Lieutenant, whatever. They're Lieutenant, my bad. With a sigh of defeat, you open the box Vanessa had given you and extract 2 tablets from their packaging, quickly tossing them into your mouth and swallowing. Ooh boy, double pills, okay. That's strong medication, but yeah. For this sitch, probably needed. You slowly lie back down on the bunk, resting your head on your pillow. As you lie there, you go over what Vanessa had told you. Dr. Rosarium was dead, but Cassandra was fine. Whoever had been responsible hadn't been apprehended, and the whole ship was on high alert. You begin to think over who the assailant could be. You couldn't think of motivation for a single crew member to attack the Doctor. Although, now that you think about it, the disarray in the sickbay was very similar to what you saw on the O'Brien, Was what happened there happening here? Interesting. Of course, I would just peg it again to it being reused graphics, but maybe even plot point that it's very similar. Plus, what was Vanessa talking about making decisions for? Your mind slows as the medication kicks in, and your thoughts lazily drift from one subject to another. Although you do your best to keep thinking about the dramatic shift in circumstances, you feel yourself beginning to slip out of consciousness and back into the exhausted slumber that Vanessa had interrupted. The last thing you remember before drifting off to sleep is that as soon as you were awake, you knew the first thing you'd be doing was visiting Cassandra. That's fair. Are we going to be allowed to? It sounded like everybody was super closed down, lockdown mode, so we'll see how it goes. We're the head of security, so I guess we'll be allowed to walk around. And hopefully, the fact that we were mega knocked down proves that we weren't the attacker. I don't know. Well, I forgot. It was like April 24th, planetary calendar. After recovering from the attack, Lieutenant Schutzhund awakens in their quarters a full 24 hours later to find that they are yet to receive any instructions. Whew, 24 hours. That's a long rest, but very much warranted after everything. With no pending orders, they decide to check in with Lieutenant Commander Quinn to see if they have recovered from their affliction. Jovian Space. Lieutenant Schutzhund's quarters, the Jovian patrol ship JFS Gundog. Reaching up above you and interlacing your fingers, you lean back, stretching out your back and your neck. As you release the last remnants of tension in your body, you sigh. Thankfully, it seemed that some bed rest was all that you needed to shift the accumulated aches and pains that you had gained over the course of yesterday. Some sleep, coupled with a shower and a change of uniform, had left you feeling like a completely new person, almost as if nothing had happened at all. Although, despite how reinvigorated you felt, there was no way you could ignore what had happened. Still, there had been no more alerts, and you'd not received any orders via your terminal. A sign you hoped that everything was going well. Now that you were fully recovered, you had resolved to start the investigation into who had murdered Dr. Rosarium and attacked you. But first, you'd be visiting Cassie. Alrighty. Doesn't look like I've received any updated instructions or orders. Vanessa said the captain was happy for me to rest as long as I needed to. I guess that means that Hansen and Haru have been picking up the security patrols. I'll probably be hearing about that from them soon. Feels so good to be in a fresh uniform. You really work up a sweat in those spacesuits. That was one hell of a nap. Maybe I shouldn't have trusted Vanessa's choice of medication so readily. Still, I'm feeling a lot better. I must have really needed it. No time for reading right now. Let's see. You work your way through the terminal's menus, checking for any new orders, mail, instructions, etc. that may have come through between when you checked after you woke up and now. Nope, nothing. I've already got a fresh uniform, no need to go in there right now. After how long I've been sleeping, I don't think I'll want to go back to bed for quite a while. I think I'll leave the lights on for now. Alrighty. Well, let's get a move on, everybody. Stepping out into the corridor beyond your quarters, you barely make it halfway to the Forsyth thoroughfare before an announcement sounds over loudspeakers. Oh, interesting. You instantly recognize it as Vanessa, despite the slight distortion caused by the speakers.
Attention all hands. I repeat, attention all hands. This is Lieutenant Vanessa Lord. All members of the crew are to assemble on the bridge for an emergency briefing. Attention all hands. I repeat, attention all hands.
The announcement is made a few more times until eventually you hear the subtle pop of the speakers indicating that Vanessa has stopped broadcasting. I don't know if you guys heard that. I tried to make like a little pop with my mouth. I can't do it very well. I don't know how people do that. Oh well. An emergency briefing. You quickly make through the ship towards the bridge, only stopping once you're outside the elevator. Oh, okay, we're really being, guided here. I was gonna go to the mess hall to get a chocolate bar and go visit Cassie and bring her one. Which, by the way, apparently we can't do anymore because I got an achievement which was give Cassie a chocolate bar, like every time you're able to in the game. So I guess whatever's gonna happen, we're not gonna be able to do that anymore. Alright. You run your keycard through a reader and wait a little longer than usual. You can only assume that whoever is on the bridge is taking a few seconds to authenticate your ID and grant you permission to enter. Soon enough, the door opens and you step inside. As you stand alone in the elevator, listening to the dull whir of its motor, you wonder why the captain had called this meeting. Had she come up with a plan to apprehend the attacker? Had Haru and Hansen uncovered some plot while she's been resting? Or had something even worse happened that the whole crew needed to be made aware of? Now let's see if there even is any captain here, as I'm starting to suspect. After a short wait, the doors slide open and you step out onto the bridge. Huh. Well, that's not really everybody. Where you'd expected to see the captain, you instead see Vanessa, sat in the captain's chair and flanked by Haru and Hansen. Lieutenant Schutzhund, glad to see you're so enthusiastic. Please wait there until the rest of the crew join us. What's this about, Vanessa? Where's the captain? I'll address that once everyone else is here, Lieutenant. Vanessa, this is no time for screwing around. What's going... Take it easy, Lieutenant. Ensign Rumney swaggers up to you, placing their hand on your shoulder before moving around behind you. Lieutenant Lord just needs you to be patient and wait for a few minutes until the big announcement. Your posture stiffens as you feel something blunt thrust into the small of your back. You're confident enough that, unlike Cassandra's prank when you first came on board, this isn't a pen. You'd better listen to what Ensign Rumney tells you, Lieutenant. They like to be in charge, and don't take kindly to people who try to get on top of them. You feel the blunt object slide around your back to your side as Haru steps around you, keeping their arm draped over your shoulders. Dang it, Haru! I thought you were a good sport. I don't like that Haru's part of all this business now. Also, I'm shocked that, I thought Hansen would not go along with this either, honestly. I thought that for all his antagonistic attitudes, he would not, he'd stick to the plan, like, no, he'd have some, like, code of honor, like, this is kind of not cool, you two. Vanessa, this is totally on brand. I'm not shocked at all. Cruis should know. He's speaking from experience. You glance down and see that, protruding out from underneath the jacket that they're always carrying around, is the muzzle of a large handgun. Ooh, actual, like, solid fire gun? Is that a good idea on a spaceship, I wonder? Not an electroshock gun like yours, but a lethal weapon. Right, okay, like a proper gun. Good heavens. Okay, so that's the difference, of course. It's not a taser. It'll actually kill a person. Is the other difference, yeah. I wonder if maybe they've designed the gun dog so that bullets can't penetrate the hole. You'd hope. Vanessa, what the hell are you? She told you to wait, Lieutenant. You'd gone to step forward towards Vanessa, but Haru emphasizes their point by thrusting the gun deeper into your side. You quickly stop, letting them draw you back to where you'd stood. There we go. Good choice, Lieutenant. And just let me look after you, and we'll both have a good time. Before you can respond, there's a small electronic chirp that sounds from the captain's chair. Vanessa looks down to the control panel and enters a quick series of commands. You hear the whir of the elevator and I thought it was an altar. And after a few seconds, the doors open, revealing Dalton, who nervously steps onto the bridge. I heard the announcement and That's good, Cadet. Thank you for being so prompt. Do me a favor and stand over there by the lieutenant, would you? Oh, yes, ma'am, will do. As the cadet makes his way over to your side, you look at Lieutenant Lord, staring at her with a silent fury. All you get as a response is a sly grin. As much as you'd love to wipe that look from her face, you know that Hansen would be on top of you the moment you tried to disarm Haru. You couldn't rely on Dalton to remain calm in that kind of situation either. There was a good chance that he would get caught in any crossfire. Ooh. You get caught in the crossfire! Was hydrating here, don't mind me. Instead, you just remain silent. It's good you're feeling better, Lieutenant. I was really worried when I heard about what happened to you in the sick bay. Thanks, Dalton. With her smirk looking increasingly sinister, Vanessa shakes her head at you, causing you to stop your response midway through. Though, that's a misspelling mistake. Lieutenant? You haven't had much time to resent Vanessa's subtle malice when you hear the same electronic chirrup as earlier. After Vanessa repeats the previous process, Dylan soon appears. Well, great atmosphere in here, huh? Dylan looks to all of you, but after receiving no response, he brings his headphones up over his ears and reaches into his jacket pocket. You hear the click of his cassette player and watch enviously as he drifts off into his music. Doesn't take long after that for the chief to arrive. Much like Dylan, she takes stock of the silence and doesn't interrupt it, instead standing silently by one of the control panels. You all stand in this awkward silence with no one either daring or willing to break the quiet that fills the bridge. Right, okay, with, yeah, this is, everybody, yeah, with Dr. Rosarium dead, it's Cassie and the Captain. Now, I don't know if Cassie's yet in a state to come up here, and I got a funny feeling that Vanessa does not want either of those two to show up, so we'll see. Although you notice a few furtive glances from the chief as she surveys the room, and some looks shared between Haru and Hansen as they keep the rest of the crew under close surveillance, everyone remains relatively still. Leaning back into the chair and crossing her legs, Vanessa positions her elbow on one of the armrests and rests her head on her hand. Ooh, that like super cocky. Oh my god, like that real like villain slouching in a throne pose. Good heavens. Don't worry, everyone. We're just waiting for the captain to arrive, and then things can begin. Oh, okay. I really thought she was gonna be like, nope, but alright. There's a round of uncomfortable looks that pass between Dylan, the chief, and Dalton. After a moment, the chief steps forward to say something. Lieutenant Lord, Wait for the captain to get here, Chief. It'll all make sense then. You can see the chief mull over this response, and although it takes a few seconds, she steps back, taking her previous position by the control panels. The silence on the bridge, which had clearly never been designed to hold this many people at once, continues to drag on until it's eventually broken by the now familiar chirrup of an access request. And here she is now. Lieutenant Lord, what are you doing calling an authorized all hands? And what are you doing in the captain's seat? This is a hilarious. We haven't seen this before. This is a really, really funny expression. I love it. The level of tension that was already present suddenly explodes, suspense saturating the air. You feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up as the realization of what Vanessa is planning hits you. Just like the chief, Dalton, and Dylan, your eyes flick from the captain to Vanessa. Well, it is my seat after all. What did you just say? Striding forward with intensity and purpose, the captain raises her right hand across her body and swings to strike Vanessa. Careful, Bottomuse! You don't want to get written up for striking a superior officer, do you? At the last moment, Hansen's arm had reached out, viper quick, and he'd grabbed the captain by the wrist before she could bring the back of her hand down on Vanessa. Cruis! You release me immediately! Cruis, you idiot, you... Hey. How about everyone calms down for a moment, huh? Ooh, I like this panel, too. This special, like, pulling the gun out. You know, sprite. Dig it. Stepping away from you, Haru reveals the handgun they'd been hiding under their jacket and waves it around lazily before walking over to stand on the opposite side of Vanessa from Hansen. The villain and her two flunkies, wow. Now that we all understand who's in charge here... This is mutiny! Yanking her arm back from Hansen, the captain turns to face you whilst pointing at Vanessa. Lieutenant Schutzhund! Detain these three immediately! You move your hand towards your holstered electroshock weapon, but find yourself hesitating for a brief instant. Ooh, there's no, like, timer thing on this. Wow, interesting. Well. That's interesting that they're allowing you to, I wonder. Because, like, ignoring her in this situation isn't even necessarily, you know, like, siding with the bad guys. You could also just be like, look, I can't stop them. But I wonder if Saul would be, like, dutiful enough, like, that we would in fact follow the captain's orders. I don't know. It's a tough choice, because this might lead to our deaths. But I kind of feel like I gotta stick with the captain. So I'm gonna do this. And this might be crazy, but sometimes you gotta get crazy. You grab your weapon, but before you've drawn it halfway out of the holster, both Haru and Hansen are pointing their guns right at you. Guns? In multiple? Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, that was cool. Get a little submachine gun by the looksies, is what Hansen was packing. Where the heck did they get these guns? I don't feel like there were any guns in the, like, armory, so, like, wow. Admirable, Lieutenant. But you're not that stupid, are you? Don't worry. I know you're just following orders like any good member of the JCF would, so I won't hold it against you. If you holster that weapon right now. You glance from Vanessa to Hansen and Haru, whose weapons are both trained on you. Although Haru's expression is hard to read due to their shades, you can see a steely coolness in Hansen's eyes, telling you that he'd have no hesitation to pull the trigger at Vanessa's order. This is actually kind of a funky looking gun. It's really weird looking, because the proportions are so, you know, huge chunky gun and a tiny clip there. Magazine. Oh well. It was funny. Alright, yeah. Knowing that you wouldn't be able to draw your weapon before you'd be gunned down, and that the two pilots are clearly willing to do so, you release your grip on the weapon and slowly raise your hands. Good choice. I won't stand for this! All of you are... Cruis. Yes, ma'am. Within the blink of an eye, Hansen steps up to the captain, balls his hand into a fist, and swiftly strikes her in the stomach, causing her to double over. Ooh, that's a low blow. Cruis! Slow down, Lieutenant. The captain staggers backwards, clutching at her stomach before falling to her knees, retching in pain. Stepping towards the captain, Hansen cracks his knuckles. Cruis, that's enough! Damn it, Cruis, stop! That'll be enough, Ensign Cruis. I'm sure she's willing to listen now. Unless anyone else has any other objections. Dalton freaking out. Oh boy. That's what I thought. I really hate that Haru's going along with this. Like, I do also hate that Cruis is going along with this. But somehow I thought that, you know, like, but still, like, okay, fine. Fine, I guess I can also see that happening. But Haru seemed like such a good egg, ultimately. Like, this is not cool. Uncrossing her legs and rising from the captain's chair, Vanessa takes on a formal posture and walks into the middle of the bridge. I, Lieutenant Vanessa Lord, as of 1700 Jovian Standard Time, April 24th, Planetary Calendar 244, in accordance with the Jovian Colony Fleet Convention Section 16, Article 7. Announce myself the new captain of the JFS Gundog. I justify my announcement through Section 16, Article 9 on the grounds that neither the captain nor her second-in-command are fit for duty based on medical circumstances. As we don't currently have a doctor on board, I am forced to make this assessment based on my own discretion. Ooh, wait a second. That actually makes it very convenient that the doctor is dead, then, for Vanessa. Wow. I hadn't actually thought of that. Like, my honestly, quick speculation on who the killer / stowaway sneaky person might be, I really thought that it was a stowaway. I thought that there was some, like, extra unknown person aboard the ship. But it could have been Vanessa, actually? The motivation is there now, the motive, Wow, this is messed up. In addition to this, under Jovian Colony Fleet Convention Section 16, Article 12, I am limiting both the previous captain and the lieutenant commander to their quarters on the suspicion of treason. Lord! What the hell are you? You spring forward to grab Vanessa, your hand already on your electroshock weapon. But before you can get to her, you're immediately stopped by Haru, whose pistol is crammed deep into your stomach. There's only so many times I'm gonna damn it. There's only so many times I'm gonna tell you to stay cool, Lieutenant. Looking past Haru and a smug Vanessa, you can see that Hansen has similarly leveled his gun at the Chief and Dylan, both of whom step backwards. If you'd care to let me explain, we are currently in the middle of a situation that goes beyond negligence and incapability. Lieutenant Lord! The captain hisses, staggering to her feet with one arm over her stomach. You stop this now, or... Ugh! With a slap that echoes around the bridge, Vanessa sends the captain, who was still unsteady on her feet, reeling. Oh boy. As she falls back to the floor, Dalton moves to help her, but is quickly blocked by Haru. As I was saying, it's clear that both Maris Bartermuse and Cassandra Quinn are traitors. You expect me to believe that the captain and her second-in-command are both incapacitated exactly when their clearance is needed to maintain ship operations? And that somehow an unknown craft, clearly made by our enemies, manages to make its way into our hangar, having already destroyed the O'Brien from within and killing its crew. Don't tell me this is a coincidence. It's clearly treachery. The Gundog and the O'Brien are obviously both being offered up as test data for a new enemy weapon, and Bartermuse and Quinn are the traitors who sold us out. God damn it, this is crazy, because you know what? I think the enemy ship sitch is completely unrelated to anybody here, like it's just happenstance that we bumped into this sitch, and Vanessa just now is just making crazy, conjecture and justifying it for her power grab. Oh, this is messed up. Do you think she's gonna get a special sprite? She steals Bartermuse's hat and coat to like captain it up. I'm very curious to see if that happens. I kind of love that, actually. Why else would they keep us from reactivating the Gundog? How else could that craft have gotten on board without help? Why would Quinn be mysteriously out of sight when that happened? And then Dr. Rosarium ends up dead when she's in his care. What did he find out? Did she decide he knew too much?
Not only is Quinn a traitor, she's a murderer too.
Lord, that's insane! How the hell could...
You want to be careful, Lieutenant. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, since you were the one that brought the gun dog back online, and were with Ensign Crewis during that attack. But your close association with Lieutenant Commander Quinn means that I've had my eyes on you for a while, and I'm by no means confident that you're nothing to do with this. After all, Ensign Crewis didn't see anyone else in the sickbay after the doctor's murder, except for you and Quinn.
Ooh, okay, so we are actually, putting suspicion on us then. Oh boy. How could I have...
Very suspicious. Still, for now it seems like I can trust you. So, as per Section 16, Article 12, I am announcing that all crew present, with the exception of Maris Spartermuse, have the choice as to whether they wish to continue to serve under my rightfully mandated authority, or if they'd like to maintain their allegiance to a traitor and be treated as co-conspirators when we get back to Europa Colony.
An agonizing silence fills the room as Vanessa stands proudly amongst the crew who shift nervously. Those pensive looks, I kind of like them. They're fun sprites we're getting here. Both Hansen and Haru keep their guns trained on the crew on each side of the room, compounding the uneasy quiet.
Don't worry, I'll be happy to take any lack of response as an affirmative.
As the silence drags on, it's clear that none of the crew are on board with the idea, but at the same time it's obvious that none of them have enough loyalty to the captain to justify the risk of being charged with treachery. Interesting, wow, okay, yeah. Okay, I can believe it though, yeah, this is a sticky situation. Well, you know, we had to have drama happen in the story, obviously, so, like, yeah. Can't really complain that there's dramatic plot twists and stuff, yeah. For you, though, this isn't about the captain. It's about Cassie. Lord, would you think about what you're doing? Taking medical command is one thing, but accusing the captain and Cassie of treason is...
This sounds an awful lot like a no, Lieutenant.
You grit your teeth and breathe in. Ooh, my god, oh no! Oh gosh. If I say fine, can we play along and somehow fix this situation later? Or should I just be baller and say it is a no? Yeah, the Cassie angle, I think, is, like, if we think the character, yeah. Like, yeah, Saul would stick up for Cassie if not the captain, so maybe we go with it is a no. There's no way I'd join in with your scheme. This is nothing but your personal grudge. You saw a chance and you took it. There's no way the JCF will take your side on this.
Now, that's a shame, Lieutenant. I really thought you had more sense than that. But I suppose this is no surprise. At least it resolves matters. Crewis?
Nothing personal, Schutzhund. Orders are orders. Shifting his weapon's focus from the Chief and Dalton to you, Hansen walks across the room, stopping only to sweep an arm out from underneath the slowly recovering captain, who was again attempting to return to her feet, sending her back to the floor. Ooh, that's cocky. Make life easy for both of us, Lieutenant? Turning on her heels, Vanessa returns to the captain's chair, sitting down with a smug expression on her face.
Chief Engineer Cathays, Cadet Grange, I want those engines online now. As soon as they're operational, we'll be heading back to Europa Colony. Warrant Officer Dees, I want you back in fire control and to remain on high alert. We're going to assume that we're in enemy territory, and I want you on the lookout for any hostile activity.
Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. What's that, Chief Engineer Cathays?
Yes, Captain.
You're all dismissed.
With that, the 3 crew members quickly depart from the bridge in a single elevator, leaving you with Vanessa, the 2 pilots, and the captain.
Ensign Romney, you take care of Ms. Bartermuse.
Sure thing, Captain. Shoving their gun in the back of their waistband, Haru walks over to the captain and lackadaisically delivers a kick into the captain's stomach, causing her to heave and curl into a fetal position. Come on, Bartermuse, let's get going. Dragging the captain upright, Haru holds onto her until she's able to stand, shoving her towards the elevator as soon as she can stagger forwards. Once they're both on the elevator, the pilot turns to you, looking over the top of their shades as the doors slide closed. You made a bad choice, Schutzhund. As soon as the doors of the elevator containing Haru and the captain are closed, the doors on the other open, and you feel the muzzle of Hansen's gun as it's thrust into your back. One more thing. Keeping his gun firmly pressed into the small of your back, Hansen leans around to your side and draws your electroshock weapon from its holster. Stepping back, he slides your weapon into a pocket within his jacket before gripping his gun with both hands and returning its muzzle to the small of your back. Don't want you getting any ideas.
Take them away, Ensign.
Yes, ma'am. Hansen shoves his gun harder into your back and you reluctantly comply, walking across the bridge and into the waiting elevator. Once in, you turn around. Hansen keeps his gun trained on you, and behind him, you can see Vanessa sneering at you from the captain's chair.
It's really a shame, Lieutenant. I'd had such high hopes for you.
Before you're able to tell Vanessa what you'd hoped for her, the doors slide closed and you're left in silence with Hansen. Once you arrive in the central hub, you're unceremoniously shunted at gunpoint through the ship towards your quarters. Once outside, Hansen gestures towards the terminal at the side of the door. Understanding its instruction, you take out your key card, run it through the reader, and enter your security code. As soon as the door opens, Hansen snatches the card out of your hand and shoves you into the room, causing you to stagger your way inside. Leaning nonchalantly against the door frame, his boot positioned to stop the door from closing automatically, Hansen looks at you wordlessly. He remains silent for a few short seconds with a ruminative expression on his face, until you manage to stand back up and turn to face him. Once you've regained your composure, he straightens up and angles the gun towards you. You know, Schutzhund, I was beginning to come around on you. What's that supposed to mean? Hansen smirks. The stuff you've done, you're actually kind of alright. You might not be the coward you were back on the Kalike anymore. Thanks. Good to know I've changed your mind. Hey, don't get too ahead of yourself, Schutzhund. You might not be a coward, but you're still an idiot. You should have gone with the rest of the crew and sided with Lord. Now you, Bartermuse, and your girlfriend are gonna get pulled up on treason. There's no way the JCF's gonna believe her. You, Lord, Romney, you're all gonna get court-martialed for mutiny. I don't know about that, Schutzhund. Lord's got some pretty serious evidence. She's got it all figured out. This is how it ends, Lieutenant. You going down for some third-rate captain and your airhead girlfriend. Hope it's worth it. It's a shame. I was kinda looking forward to grabbing a drink with you and Romney back on Europa. Whatever. We'll pour one out for you. Oh, thanks. Hey, don't worry about it. Now, get comfy, Lieutenant. You're gonna have a dull trip back to Europa. As Hansen turns to walk away, you leap towards him, aiming to get your hand in the way of the door to prevent it closing. Oh my god, action scene, whoa! Before you can make it to the door, Hansen pivots and once again levels a gun at you. You stop inches away from the door. I like the feistiness of Schutzhund here, though, that's pretty cool. Hansen, you prick! You yell, banging your fist on the door. You can't do this! With your head in your hands, you turn back away from the door and sit down on your bunk. Your mind racing as you think about Vanessa's mutiny, the prospect of getting court-martialed, and what might happen to Cassie. You're so angry that you can barely think straight. Different thoughts rush through your mind, but you can't focus on one for long until it's replaced by another, and your mind becomes a roiling storm of emotion. Eventually, after much pacing, swearing, and the occasional kick delivered to the now stubbornly shut door, you manage to calm down enough to begin formulating a plan. And I think that's a great moment for us to have a break here now. So we're about halfway done with today's stream. So, let's take a moment to take a bio break and stand and stretch and get something, catch something to eat or drink, all that stuff. And when we come back, we're gonna figure out what this plan is. I got a funny idea what we're gonna be doing. It's something that I was kind of expecting might be happening already last time, and I was alluding to it. Might be about time to rock that, yeah? But we'll see what the plan is when we get back. But yeah, be back in 5 minutes, everybody. See you soon. Okay, bye! And I'm back. Yes, we're good to go again. Hello, hello, everybody. Oops, no, let me hit that. Yeah. I'm going to just tab back into the game. She's not gonna get away with this. Yep, we're good to go again. I had my quick break, walk around and everything, and I hope you guys also managed to stock up and use the commode if need be. I'm happy to report I still feel fresh and not falling asleep, so I'm pretty confident we can still do another hour of this shindig here. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, good. But yeah, I mean, now things are really heating up now, so I kind of want to see where this all goes, yeah? Right, so. Gotta quickly comment, though. I'm really wondering where this story is still gonna go, because it feels like so much is amping up, and I did check, like, how long to beat.com, and this game isn't super long. Like, I think it said, like, 5 to 10 hours, you know, online. Now, of course, it takes me a little bit longer, you know, just to do the main quest, 5 to 10 hours. Anyway, it, of course, takes me longer because I'm reading everything, and I'm constantly stopping to have these monologues and, like, ponder and stuff. So that'll add up a little bit more time. But if it's 5 to 10, you'd still think that I'd land at the 10 mark, or 11 or 12, and we're kind of getting on the 12 hours, I'm pretty sure, of playthrough time. So, yeah, I don't know what's up, guys, but, because, like, the mystery of the enemy craft is, like, completely unresolved. And now we got this mutiny business on top, so wow, there's a lot to deal with here. I do wonder, like, because I have read that the developers of this game, they kind of want to make more stories from Soul games. So more games in this style, and stories set in this world, not necessarily the same characters, but, they want to make a grander, like, larger thing. So I do wonder if this game's going to end on some kind of, like, not necessarily cliffhanger, but, like, something like where only a part of stuff is resolved as an obvious setup for, like, a future game, I think we need to, like, start to mentally prepare for that. We're not going to get answers for everything by the end of this game, We'll see how it goes. That's kind of how Contradiction ends. Spoilers for that fun, like, detective game, but there's a surprisingly simple solution ultimately when you work out, like, when you solve the murder in Contradiction. But, like, a lot of the mystery that was set up in the town you explore while trying to solve that murder is not resolved. And the game even highlights, like, what was the deal with that and that and that stuff? What was going on with that, And it's all, like, sequel bait, obviously, like setting up a sequel, which never really did happen, right? Although they did make, like, the guy who acted as the main guy in Contradiction, he showed up in that one shape-shifting detective FMV game, so, like, those kinds of games were still made, but, yeah. Anyway, yeah, like, I'm getting the same kind of vibe of how this is gonna end, I think. By the way, oh, whoopsie daisy, I could have just called it here for my break. Alright, this was such a good spot to end it. Whoopsie. Oh well. April 24th, that's the same day still. Planetary Calendar 214. Following the murder of Dr. Rosarium, Lieutenant Lord takes command of the JFS Gundog on the grounds that both the captain and her second-in-command are unfit for duty. As her first act, Captain Lord has Maris Bartermuse and Lieutenant Commander Quinn confined to their quarters on suspicion of treason. The ship's security officer, Lieutenant Schutzhund, is also confined to their quarters after refusing to follow the new chain of command. Jovian Space. Lieutenant Schutzhund's quarters, the Jovian patrol ship JFS Gundog. Yeah, I wonder if this is like a huge split in the game. Like, if you had picked to side with them, I wonder if you are, like, able to then wander around and do stuff, Whereas we're going to be doing something a little bit more clandestine here, I think, if this is going where I think it is. That's be interesting. That's, like, actual, like, really good replay value, I think. If you want to check out, like, how that goes, So we'll see what happens. You wince and draw your hand back from the wall panel next to your bunk. After spending half an hour unsuccessfully trying to find the catch to remove the panel, all you'd managed to do was snag your nail on an edge and tear it. Ugh, that's not nice. Yikes. Ow. But okay, good. I'm glad this came up. The hidden smuggler panel thing here. Yeah. That's the first thing I thought of when we got closed in this room, you know. With a loud exhalation, you move from your bed to the computer terminal on the other side of the room. You idly hit a few keys, but the only response you get is the screen displaying the same familiar text as the last few times you tried it. Access denied. Insufficient authority. As easy as it was to hate her, you had to give Vanessa credit. Her machinations had clearly been well thought through. Nothing had been missed when it came to making sure you would remain imprisoned. You hadn't noticed it when you'd awoken earlier, but someone must have gone through your quarters whilst you were unconscious. Small items like your nail scissors and metal bookmark had been taken, leaving you with nothing to pry open the access panels. Huh, okay. They played it smart, huh? Got it. Interesting. Yeah, like, okay, so they know that we can do this then, the mutineers. That's not good, you know? I was hoping we'd get the element of surprise by sneaking into the vents. Sitting down on the chair in front of the terminal, you wondered how long she'd been planning this and how much she'd accounted for. Placing your elbows on the keyboard and your head in your hands, you sigh again. You'd gone through every trick you'd learned in your time as a security officer, and none of them were helping you get out of here. Leaning back and looking at your watch, you see it's been nearly 6 hours since you'd been imprisoned. You'd felt the rumble of the Gundog's engines coming back to life about 3 hours ago. It would only be a matter of days now until you arrived back at Europa Colony. Waiting for you there, if Vanessa was successful, was a trial for treachery. You put your head in your hands again at the thought. There was only one outcome for a guilty verdict on that charge. Execution. Ugh. Leaning back in the chair, you stare listlessly at the ceiling. There had to be something you could do. It's been locked the last 10 times I've checked it, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Yeah, I guess now we're here. Now we're in our room trying to figure stuff out. Let's have a look around to begin with. I haven't got access to anything, not even my mail or calendar. It's not like it makes a difference. I've never been much good with computers anyway. At least I've got enough clean uniforms to last me until we get back to Europa Colony. Gotta look good for my trial. I always wished I could have a few minutes longer in bed each morning. I guess that wish has come true. I suppose I've got the time I need to catch up on my reading now. I wonder if I can make it through the last 6 books before we get back to Europa Colony. If with nothing else to do, I probably would, personally. Depends on the books and their size, I guess. Okay, let's see. You type in a few commands and attempt to navigate further into the terminal's interface, but every action you carry out is met with the same response. Access denied. Insufficient authority. Yeah, I thought so. You spend a few moments examining the control pad next to the door, tapping on the casing, pressing buttons, and investigating the wiring that runs out from underneath it, before settling on your course of action. Hey! Hey, Rumney! Are you gonna let me out or what? Hey, Rumney! Can you hear me? Let me out! Shut up, Schutzhund! Yeah, it went as well as I expected. Sighing, you run your hand through your hair, wondering if there's anything left for you to try. You're just about to make another attempt at levering the panel next to your bunk off the wall, when someone knocks loudly on the door. Step back from the door, Schutzhund. What do you want, Rumney? Just shut up and do it. With a sigh, you move back to the far side of your quarters. You moved? Yeah. Now you just stay there, Schutzhund. You roll your eyes. What did they think you were going to do? You're lucky the captain's so generous. You get room service. Ooh, for a second I thought they might actually be like, surprise, I'm a deep cover, and I'm going to actually work with you. Like, that was gonna be the thing. I already got an idea that we're working up to here on what I think is what we're supposed to do, but we'll see in a second. As Haru steps back, Dylan comes around the corner carrying a tray of food from the vendor in the mess hall.
Hey, Lieutenant, how's it?
Whoa, let's chat there, Dees. Tray on the ground and walk away.
Yeah, chill out, Romney. Whatever.
Muttering under his breath, Dylan lays the tray on the ground halfway between you and the door and walks out of the room with Haru keeping their gun trained on you the entire time. Looking down at the tray, you see it's a fairly standard meal: burger, fries, and a soda from one of the vending machines. You had to assume that Dylan had chosen this for you, as you couldn't imagine either of the pilots being so generous. Yeah, that sounds pretty nice. I'm getting hungry now. Now, stay where you are. Okay, yeah, for a second I really was like, oh my god, what if Haru is, like, doubting and is gonna, like, switch sides, but don't think we're gonna be that lucky. With their free hand, Haru reaches for the control panel on the opposite side of the door. Within a second, the door slides shut, and you hear the click of its lock. You sigh to yourself. You weren't happy about the situation you were in, but at least they were feeding you. What have I... Spent a few moments examining the control pad next to the door, tapping on the casing. The same dialogue. Alright. Cool. A standard burger meal on a reinforced recyclable cardboard tray. They've probably given me a cardboard tray instead of a steel one to make sure I can't use it as a tool or a weapon. Once I've finished eating the food, all this tray will be good for is nutrition if they forget to feed me for the rest of the journey. Alright, well, let's have a burger. You take the meal tray over to the terminal and sit down on the chair, balancing your food on the keyboard in order to use it as a makeshift table. At least Vanessa was feeding you. You'd been starting to worry that you'd be left locked in your quarters the entire journey back to Europa Colony with no one bothering to check in on you. After picking at a few fries, you raise the burger to your mouth and bite down. Ugh! What the hell? Oh! Oh, could it be the old... Let's see. You place the burger back on the tray and run your tongue over your teeth. You'd bitten down on something hard. Pulling back the top of the bun to investigate, you find an entirely unexpected ingredient. Ha! Dylan! Yes! Resting between the imitation lettuce and beef is a small pocket screwdriver, just short enough to be hidden within the burger. Oh yeah, one of those tiny drivers, I get it. Wow, weird that the burger didn't flop in a weird way. Did he carve like a little hole in the burger so it fits in? Grabbing it with a napkin, you inspect it. Not only is it small enough to wedge between the gaps in the panels that make up the ship's ceilings, walls, and floors, but it's also got the right size head to unscrew any fixtures you may come across. Oh, this is perfect, you whisper to yourself. You got a screwdriver. Nice. You stand up to put it to use, but your stomach immediately roars in protest. Okay, first things first, I guess. You place the screwdriver in your pocket and pick the burger back up, quickly devouring both it and the fries. Alright, now it's time. Huh. I guess I'm mistaken then. Hold on, let me look at items. Oh, we got Cassie's key card still. Oh, because... Right, Hansen didn't know we had that, I think. Very good. Anyway, I thought that we were going to use the shard of glass. When they mentioned that, like, Vanessa handed us a painkiller packet with, like, a shard of glass in it, I thought I was going to check my items and the shard of glass was going to be in here, you know? So, yeah. I was being too smart for my own good. A more simple screwdriver in the burger was the answer. Very good, very good. Kneeling down by a drawer, you open it, shove your belongings to one side, and peer inside. You can't see beyond the rearmost panel, and your attempt to remove it ends in failure as the drawer catches on something before you can slide it all the way out. I'm not sure how much I can accomplish here, but it's worth a try. I'm going to do that in a second. Alright, let's see. Clamber up onto the bed and run your fingers over the seam between the panel and the rest of the wall. Interesting, I was going to say that I thought that there was this panel we could move, not this one, but apparently we got two choices. Much like you discovered on your last inspection, there was no give in the panel, and certainly not enough space for you to work your fingers into in order to undo the catches that held it onto the wall. You'd need to approach this differently if you were going to get anywhere. Turning your attention to the top end of your bunk, you take a look at the panel that sits at the back of the shelf where you keep all your books. The only noticeable feature is your room's light switch. If there's a switch, then there must be wires that lead somewhere. If there's wires, it'd stand to reason that someone might need to access them. The computer... Oh, hold on, that's... You approach the terminal, screwdriver in hand, and pause for a moment. Although you can see the screws that fix its external casing in place, you struggle to think of any good that might be done by taking it apart. I'm just gonna leave this alone for now. Even if I could get the door open, Haru's on the other side. I don't see them hesitating to pull the trigger. That's smart, yeah. So, let's start dismantling stuff. Taking out the screwdriver, you trace it along every seam and edge within the drawer and what little of the underside of your bunk you can access. Unfortunately, you realize everything's welded together, leaving you nothing that you could disassemble. There was no way you were taking this apart with just a screwdriver. Okay. How about over here? Let's take a look. You raise your screwdriver tentatively. Unable to find any noticeable seams around the panel, you turn it towards the switch, the only part that may give you some access. Okay, so I'll just... You pull the screwdriver back and tumble onto the bed, the snapping and crackling noise that had accompanied the strobing lights having taken you completely by surprise. That was a bad idea, huh? Alright, let's try something else. Okay, I see. So you just get a little chance to play around all over the room with the... Oh! What's this? Let's see how good Cassie's knowledge of illicit ship-based activities is. Now, who am I kidding? Knowing her, if there's a way to break a rule without getting caught, she knows it. You take the screwdriver from your pocket and slide it into the gap in the seams between floor panels. I'm glad I stumbled on this by accident. I was going to do this next. If that had been like, you can't access it, I would have had a freaking meltdown. Like, what the hell? So, glad I bumped into this. You slowly begin to slide it along the seam, and it's only a few seconds before you feel it catch on something. It doesn't take you long to use the screwdriver to release the catch you've encountered, a process that you're easily able to repeat on each one you run into, the panel noticeably lifting away from the floor as you do so. After a few minutes of work, you undo the last catch. Despite its unwieldy size, you're able to shift the panel out of its original position without creating much noise, revealing a 3-foot drop down into a small tunnel that disappears into darkness in both directions. Wiping the sweat from your brow, you dust off your hands as you look over the passageway you've revealed. Okay, but what if I want to do this real quick? I could take off the panel from the wall, but with the access to the crawlways I've already got, there's no much point. Okay, well, dang it, sorry everybody, we missed on whatever was going to be the dialogue here, you know? We could have checked, like... Maybe he could have popped it open, they could have popped it open and there would have been nothing behind there, you know? Or like, dang, can't get through here. So the answer was this, but yeah, whatever. I'm glad I stumbled on this, though. As you stand above the entrance that you've just revealed, you look around your quarters one more time. Let's see, is there anything else I need to do in here? Or should I get going? Once I go, there's no coming back. You mull over your decision for a while, spending some time peering into the darkness of the crawlway. Eventually, you decide to stay in your quarters for just a little longer. You don't know why, but something about committing to the decision makes you hesitate. Not yet. Thankfully, I didn't waste time destroying the terminal. Can't afford to waste any more time, though, so I should really get moving. Even if I could get the door, blah blah blah, yeah, okay. I don't think there's anything in there that could come in handy. Okay, that too. What about the... I don't think there's much for me to gain by messing around with that switch again. Not now that I've got access to the crawlways. I'm very confused by that, like, prompt of, like, you can still do something before going in. Are we supposed to wait out until we get another lunch delivered? But it's gonna look really creepy with the crawlway open like this. Anyway, I was thinking we should turn off the lights, but I guess even with the lights turned off, they'd still notice that no one's in here. So, yeah. Oh. Did I see something? Hold on, I'm gonna do a real quick sweep of everything here. So don't mind me, everybody. I'm super focusing on if I spot something weird here, untoward. Yeah, doesn't look like it. Okay, okay. Hold on. There's no one here right now. Don't really use items unless you're like... The syntax isn't like you click the item and then use it. I was like, could I use the Cassie's thing on this? But no. Or Cassie's card on here would have also, but then we get shot again, as we know. Alright, I guess we're good to go. But there is actually one thing I gotta take care of first. I think I gotta go really quickly to the bathroom. I'm sorry, this is embarrassing, but... No major break, but I'll be back in just a second. Sorry, everybody. Weak bladder. It is what it is. And I'm back. Saws about that. Alright. Yeah, I don't know what else to do here. Oopsie daisy. I really don't know what else to do here, so let's just go... Die Harding, baby! Or I guess, yeah, Alien would be more appropriate given the space setting, but, you know. As you stand above the entrance that you just revealed, you look around the corners one more time. You gaze into the darkness that lies ahead of you. After a few moments of thought, your mind is made up. It's time to go. You grab the floor panel and slide it into a position where you'll be able to easily replace it once you've entered the crawlway. Once it's in place, you'll lower yourself down into the space underneath the floor, kneel down, and slowly drag the panel over the opening above you. It takes you a few attempts to get it into the correct position, but eventually you have it, and all the mounts slide neatly back into the catches that had secured it in place. Now, in absolute darkness, you drop to your knees and reach out with your one hand, groping at the darkness. You've got no idea what lies ahead, but you begin to crawl forward. The absolute darkness of the crawlway leaves you disorientated as you fumble your way forwards. This is really uncomfortable, honestly. I'm not particularly claustrophobic, nor am I scared of the dark particularly, but absolute darkness in a tight space like this does seem terrifying. Every now and again, you hit a corner, a drop, or a rise that adjusts your trajectory. Hearing nothing but the gentle hum of the ship's systems or your own awkward shuffling, and unable to make out anything except for a dry, musty scent that has replaced the sterile smell that permeates the Gundog, you quickly lose your sense of distance and location. Dry, musty scent. That's weird. Unless my theory that there is a unknown person sneaking about, that the person lives in these vents, you know. Let's see what happens. With nowhere to go but onwards, you continue slowly. You have no idea how long it's taken you, but you realize that you're able to distinguish the vague features of your surroundings. Sharp edges are now ever so slightly visible, and the seams and bolts that make up the inside of the crawlways have faded into view. Now how did that happen? Renewed by the potential that light coming from somewhere must mean there's an opening leading into some accessible part of the ship up ahead, you speed up, taking advantage of your restored vision to make your way forward without incident. You turn a corner and are met with a shaft of light that is broken up by the slow and lazy rotation of an overhead fan. Finally! As you continue toward the light, you also see that your singular path is now divided with new routes branching off in different directions, albeit with no indication of where they might head. Well, is this a tricky situation? Are we in like a maze? Is this a maze we're trying to do? Wasn't this scary? You look up to see the source of the light and shield your eyes as it dazzles you. Squinting, you're able to make out that whatever is illuminating the area of the crawlways you found yourself in sits on the other side of a large spinning fan blade, roughly 15 feet above you. I wonder where that is. As you come level with the crawlway that branches off to your left, you notice almost imperceptible sounds echoing off in the distance. You hold your breath and angle your ear towards the darkness that they come from, and focus, trying to identify them. It takes you some time to be able to distinguish the faint sounds properly from the general thrum of the Gundog systems, but as you concentrate, you realize you can make out the whir of motors, the sound of metal colliding with metal, and tools being used. It's too quiet to be engineering, which must mean that this way leads to the hangar? It does say H there. I don't know. You peer down the crawlway that stretches out in front of you and do your best to make out anything that might indicate where it leads to. Despite your best efforts, all you can make out is pure darkness. There's no movement of air, sound, or smell that could indicate where it leads. As ominous as it seems, you know you can't ignore it. You have to take every opportunity if you're going to free Cassie. As you approach the crawlway that stretches out ahead of you, your nose twitches. The entire time you'd been crawling away from your quarters, all you'd smelt had been a stale musk. Not unpleasant, but a clear indicator that these crawlways were not used regularly, and certainly weren't as well ventilated as the rest of the ship. Now, though, you could pick up the slight hint of something new, but also familiar. You pause to sniff the air, trying to identify the light hints of fragrance that drift your way. Ooh, what the heck could this one then be? Ale, perhaps? Could it be the captain's quarters? That's the only stinky thing I can think of from our previous adventures here. I don't remember anybody using perfume, so. Taking in a few deep breaths, you pick up notes of something sweet, but also with a slight burning tang, topped off by a chemical tinge. Could just be the mess hall, maybe? That's just like food, you know? I think I know where this leads. And finally, as you twist to change your position in order to examine one of the new crawlways you found, you lay your hand on the wall and notice a slight but constant vibration. Running your hand along the paneling, you feel the occasional pulse of a more powerful, regular vibration. There's only one thing on this ship that creates a vibration like that. It's probably where this crawlway leads. Interesting! Well, I think I actually got an orientation now, because I think the hangar's there. That's probably the engine room. There's E, engineering. Yeah. So we're actually looking at this the same facing as the elevators in the central hub, honestly. Although we might be slightly off, because, like, looks like this and this are dead ahead. So I don't know. This could be the mess hall. In that case, you know, that all those smells might have been the mess hall's various synthetic foods, but yeah. I kind of want to see the chief, so I'm thinking normally I'd go left or right, but I kind of want to go and talk to the chief first, so I'm going to go to engineering first. Oh, no, sorry, no, that's the look. Enter the crawlway. Let's go. Confident that you knew where this path would lead, you resume your journey through the ship's crawlways, steadily heading away from the light and towards more darkness. Within a mere 2 turns, you've once again enveloped in the blackness of the ship's inner workings, and you carefully shuffle forward, making sure not to let any sudden obstacles or shifts in direction catch you off guard. At first, the constant vibrations were only noticeable when you made a special effort to feel for them in the walls or floor of the crawlway, but as you continue, you start to sense them passing through you. Eventually, they turn from a physical sensation to a constant noise that fills the dark tunnels. You find yourself moving in time with the rhythm that pulses through you, inching forward with each beat you feel. For every length of crawlway that you clear, the sensation grows stronger and stronger, leaving you to wonder how the engines haven't shaken the ship apart yet. It's not long before you eventually turn another corner and are met with a shower of illumination. Ah! Shafts of light fall around you from the grating above, all the more visible due to the cloud of dust you've kicked up on your travels. Moving forward and looking up through the grating, you recognize enough machinery to know that you are near the entrance to the engineering department. You tentatively test the grating above you by pushing against it with your forearm and find that it lifts away freely with no need to unfasten any screws, bolts, or fastenings. Well, that's handy. A welcome relief from the catches and clasps you've had to deal with so far. Twisting onto your back so that you can better manipulate the grating without creating any noise, you've only just begun to push it upwards when it slams back down into place with a loud clang. Ooh, spelling mistake. You quickly release the grating and, with no time to swivel onto your front to crawl away, start shuffling back towards the dark crawlways. Before you can get out of there, you see the soles of a pair of boots step over you, clanking against the steel grille of the flooring above. Oh boy. She's not looking actually all that happy. I was hoping, I thought it was gonna be like reassuring to meet the chief, like she'd have my back, but oh boy. This might have been a bad plan. Fancy meeting you here, Lieutenant Schutzhund. With a terrifyingly effortless ease, the chief squats down and pulls up the grating with one hand. With the other, she grabs you by the collar and yanks you out of the crawlway, roughly depositing you on the floor before replacing the grating. You got permission from the captain to be out and about? Chief, Hold that thought, Lieutenant. Come here. Taking hold of your upper arm with a grip far more powerful than you could have suspected. Really? With those guns? Okay. The chief begins to drag you away. You struggle to try to free yourself, but a combination of her raw strength and you being constantly off balance makes escape impossible. Oh, dude, what if we got what if we actually got like a non-standard, like a game over? Like straight up game over, like we picked the wrong way. I don't know. Let's see. Chief! Hey! Give me a second to explain! Chief! Chief, come on! Stopping only to swipe her keycard through a terminal next to a door, the chief continues to drag you behind her as she marches on into the newly unlocked area. Only once she's put some distance between her and the entrance does she stop, throwing you in front of her as she does. Alright, Lieutenant, we can talk now. Chief! Damn it! I was trying to explain. Why do you think I brought you here, Lieutenant? The entrance to this department's wide open. Didn't want anyone catching sight of you somewhere you shouldn't be. Okay, that's the chief being on our side after all. Phew. I figured. The chief, my good guy meter, was pretty dang hard. I mean, she's a union lady, so she's gotta be good. But, for a second I was a little scared there, because she put on that show. Especially not if it gets me mixed up in this whole cluster. Impressed you even managed to find your way into the crawlways, to be honest. Don't know how you got in there, though. Access from the quarters would. As the chief's attention is pulled away from you to the hypotheticals of your escape, you assume that, given she's not raised the alarm, she isn't going to be dragging you back to your quarters or handing you over to the ensigns. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong tone. Someone hid this in my meal. I used it too. So that's what Dees wanted it for. He told me he needed it to replace the batteries on his cassette player. I told him to bring it to me and I could install some extra long-life military issue ones. Never seen that guy so insistent about anything the entire time I've known him, though, so just handed it over in the end. Thought it was strange. No way would he pass up the chance to extend his player's lifespan. Should have known that he was planning something. Probably has no idea how screwed he is if he gets found out. Chief, listen! Take it easy, Lieutenant. I'm not gonna throw you in front of the new captain or our goons. Honestly, I admire the guts you've got making it this far. Have you got a brain to go with them, though? What's your plan? Going to try and raid the armory? Take the ship back by force? Or trying to sabotage it? Buy yourself some time? Because you listen to me, Lieutenant. I swear to God, if you screw with anything in here, I don't care if it's to deal with Lord, Chief! Huh? I'm not gonna mess with anything, I promise. Good to know. I've got a job here, and that's to keep this ship running, no matter who's at the helm. And if you get between me and the smooth operation of this vessel, Lord's punishment won't be half as creative as mine. So, Lieutenant, what's your plan? Bartermuse and Quinn are locked up, Lord's taking control of the ship, and the crew's not got enough skin in the game to push back. Let's hear it. You take a second to assess the chief's demeanor. You could see she was stressed out by the situation, but from what you made of her, she wasn't the sort of person who'd hand you over to Vanessa as soon as you were done explaining your plan. Alright, the way I figure, everyone's only going along with Lord because they've got more to lose than gain if they stick up for the captain. Her accusations, they kind of stack up if you don't look too closely. Both Captain Bartermuse and Commander Quinn were out of action when the gun dog went offline, and Quinn is the immediate suspect in the Doctor's murder. But I know there's no way Quinn could have done it. There's no way she'd have done any of it. And if the captain wasn't around, I don't think that was on purpose, not with how I saw her. If we can disprove those accusations with evidence we can show the rest of the crew, it'll be them getting charged as traitors due to this mutiny. Once we do that, they'll side with us over Vanessa easily. Even the ensigns have more sense than to stick with her. Well, you might have a point there. As it is, Lord taking command could be seen by the JCF as a reasonable course of action, given what her actions are based on. But how do you plan on proving her wrong, Lieutenant? You're going to need some good evidence to undermine her arguments. You'd thought the broad strokes of the plan through, but you hadn't really had the time to consider the specifics. You'd been too focused on navigating your way around the ship and finding out where you could access. I was hoping that I'd be able to get some help with that one, Chafe. From you. See, this is me, like, I'm trying to, like, get into the mind space, but the Chief seems the most reliable person, you know? But, we'll see. Nice try, Lieutenant. That's not happening. Sorry to burst your bubble there, but there's no chance I'm gonna get wrapped up in Lord's games. If you want help, you're gonna need someone else. Okay, fair. Alright, I guess I can't get too mad at her. Right now, I've gotta make sure these engines keep ticking over. If I'm lucky, I can find the chance to get the long-range communication system back up and running before we get the Europa colony. Chief, wait! Without giving you a chance to even try and convince her otherwise, the Chief has already turned her back on you and is striding out of the door she dragged you through earlier. Chief! You chase after her, following her through the doorway and grabbing her by the unyielding muscle of her upper arm. Chief, wait! Just hear me out! In an instant, the Chief grabs your wrist, pulling your hand off her and angling your forearm away from you in a way that almost sends you to your feet. I told you, Lieutenant, I've got one job, making sure this ship keeps sailing. Oops, whoa, sorry, I clicked through that fast. I've got nothing against you, nothing against what you're trying to do, but keep me out of it. These engines are still touch and go right now, so if we want to make it back to Europa, they're gonna need my full attention. I don't have the time to get dragged into stupid little personal grudges or power plays. Okay, I get it. I don't think there's a little bit more than a stupid grudge or power play, but whatever. The Chief releases your wrist, which you draw back quickly, the pain from the awkward angle it had been held at shooting up through your forearm. I like Lord as much as you do. I'd love to see her get taken down a peg or two. Hell, I'd love to take her down myself. With that, the Chief turns on her heels and strides away towards the engine room. You chase after her, calling out to her to give you another chance to explain, but your pleas have no effect. You're being completely ignored. Damn, okay. Fair play. Mysterious, those last parting words of hers, but... Eventually, she arrives at the entrance to one of the engine rooms, and before you can stop her, steps through and closes it behind her, leaving you stuck on the opposite side. Damn it, Chief! I need your help! There's gotta be something I can do to get her to listen to me. If I could talk to her one more time, I'm sure she'd come around. Cool boy. The Chief's in there. If I've got any hope of convincing her to help me out, I need to get in. Everything seems to be running smoothly with the machine. There's a bunch of battery packs lined up and on charge right now. Seems like it's running normally. I've got a feeling the central computer is going to be important in proving the captain and Cassie innocent. Ooh, wait a second! We've got Cassie's card! We can actually access that place! Move to the engines? Hold on now. Should I go there? Although it's almost redundant given how noisy all of the nearby machinery is, not to mention the constant background hum of the engines, you approach the door quietly. Still smug at how Vanessa had handed you the means to get around your imprisonment, you swipe the card through the terminal next to the door and step into the engine room. Despite the vast size of this area, it doesn't take you long to spot the Chief, who stood over a large control panel. Alright, let's try again. Normally I'd be glad to see this thing back up and running, but considering that right now it's bringing me closer and closer to the firing squad, I can't say I'm happy. Okay, let's back off actually. I'm thinking I need to do something to convince the Chief, right? Ah, yes. Hey, Chief, I needed your help, so I started screwing with the delicate machinery. That sounds like it'll work. Yeah, I thought that was a bad plan. Another piece of equipment I should leave alone for now. Yeah, I'm thinking we don't go talk to the chief yet until I've got something to, like, sway her over, you know? Like, because I don't have anything else after my previous attempt, you know? Like, so let's just... But let's go check this out. I didn't even think about this part, but yeah. Like, exactly. Hang on, I don't have my card, but I do have Cassie's. You remove the card from your jacket and swipe it through the terminal to the right of the door. To your relief, it opens immediately, and you step into the room. Once inside, the door closes behind you, and you're left bathed in the noxious glow of the monitor's light. You tentatively lay your hands on the keyboard and think. Right, now I'm here, I can... You step back with a sigh. I have no idea what I'm doing here. You dejectedly turn around and leave the room. Well, at least I know I can get in if I need to, I guess. Well... Back to the crawlways it is, everybody. I'm thinking I'll do that, because let's sneak around a little bit further here. Yeah, I don't think... I could go back and talk to the chief, I'm sure. But I don't think that's going to get me any results, as I mentioned. So, the cafeteria, whatever this is, and the hangar. Well, if the chief wasn't swayed, got a funny feeling that Dalton is not going to be very easily convinced. He's not exactly the type to stand up, or he could surprise us, I guess. Let's do one more thing today, and I think we'll continue next time then. I'm looking at the time here. So let's go check out this familiar aroma, why don't we? I'm curious what that is. Is it the captain? The captain, I mean, of course, Bartermuse? Or is it the cafeteria? Let's go crawling and find out. And then we'll call after that, I think, you know, as we try to figure out what's going on and piece together our plan. Heading away from the illuminated section of the crawlways that you'd momentarily stopped at, you soon find yourself in complete darkness once again. You mutter in frustration as you awkwardly twist around another corner, the snaking tunnel and the lack of any way to meaningfully track how far you've traveled compounding your lack of awareness of where you might be on the ship. Whew, this sentence, that's a run-on one. Regardless, you continue to slowly shuffle your way forward, hoping that wherever you might end up would be somewhere that could, in some way, be helpful in your efforts to prove Cassandra's innocence and deal with Vanessa, Hansen, and Haru. As you round another corner, you notice that the smell from earlier is much stronger now, the scent beginning to sting your nose and the back of your throat with every breath you take. It's probably the captain. Ooh, I've got to be nearby now. Let's see. Reaching upwards, you run your hand along the ceiling of the crawlway and, sure enough, it passes over what you recognize by touch to be a catch that secures a panel in place. Although it takes some amount of fumbling to unclip it in the dark, you eventually succeed, going on to repeat the process with all the others as you find them. Once the final catch is released, you position yourself near one of the panel's edges and raise it slightly, looking around to confirm your location. Ha! Booyah! The captain's quarters. From your position, you're not able to see Captain Bartermuse, but she should be here, you know, because of the sitch. The bathroom door's closed. Was it always closed? She could just be in there. I think it's been open because I know that's the bathroom, I'm pretty sure. Mindful of doing your best not to alarm her and ensuring not to make any noise that might alert whoever is standing guard outside, you slowly slide the panel just far enough to allow you to climb out of the tunnel and into the room. Ugh. You quickly draw your hand back in disgust and flick it away from you, only realizing that you've placed it into a puddle of liquid after the shock of the sensation subsides. Looking down at your hand, you take a tentative sniff. As you'd guessed, it's the same smell that you'd noticed in the crawlway. The burning sensation that fills your nostril reminds you more of acetone than of a beverage, but it's the unmistakable aroma of the captain's whiskey of choice. You shift position from where you just tried to climb out and move away from the slick of whiskey, rising up into the room once you're far enough away that you won't accidentally douse yourself in the spillage. As soon as you've stood up, you look around, but don't see the captain anywhere. Captain? You whisper as loudly as you dare, doing your best not to be heard beyond the confines of the quarters. Captain? You hiss, slightly louder this time. With no response forthcoming, you sigh and move away from the open panel and further into the captain's quarters. Captain, where are you? Now finding yourself in an unpleasantly familiar situation, you head over to the annex on the right-hand side of the room and lean in through the doorway to look at the bed. Captain? You sigh, pinching the bridge of your nose with your thumb and forefinger. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Not expecting much, you head over to the captain and crouch down by the bed, laying your hand on her shoulder and giving her a few gentle shoves. Although you begin to push her harder, you still don't receive a response. Captain, come on! At this point, you're all but shaking her, but she still doesn't stir. That's how it is, huh? With a deeply exasperated sigh, you stand up and look down on the captain. Although the air scrubbing system is now working, you can still make out the powerful musk of the whiskey. Time to try somewhere else. Well, let's have a look through here first. The ship's captain gets a proper ensuite bathroom, whilst the rest of us have to deal with sanitation pods. Given the condition the captain is in, I don't think it's worth risking taking a look in there. Another empty bottle of Europa Special Blend. This stuff is so rough. The captain should be able to afford much better stuff on her salary. I've seen imported Earth whiskeys at department stores that even I could afford. If I wanted to eat nothing but synth noodles whilst on my shore leave, anyway. Okay, that's kind of fun. This painting shows the first colony fleet to arrive in Jupiter's orbit. It's quite a famous painting. It's used a lot in textbooks. I think the real one is hung in Government Hall on Europa Colony. There are copies everywhere. It's supposed to remind us of where we came from and what we're in the JCF to protect. Although I guess it hasn't done much to inspire Captain Bartermuse. Looks like the captain spilt a lot of whiskey on her desk. Some is running off the edge and pooling on the floor. That must be what I put my hand in earlier. Once again, the captain's absolutely blackout drunk on her bed. There's no use trying. Even if I could wake her up, she'd be useless. Fair. Well, let's try to see if we can get something else we can use here. With how the captain is right now, I don't want to risk it. Even if I wanted to drink any of this, which I definitely don't, the captain hasn't left any. Looks like half of it ended up on the floor. It's an inspiring painting, but I don't have the time to stand around contemplating it right now. If this desk is anything like last time, all the drawers are probably locked, and I bet they took the captain's key ring since it contains a lot of master switches for ship functions. Let's see. Like I thought, all locked. Ah well, it was a good idea. She's not getting up anytime soon. Dead to the world. Alive for the journey. Nothing in here then. Well, that sucks. Alright. What? Hold on. This seems like a really bad idea. Wait a second. Let's not. Because there's probably going to be a guard out there. Let's friggin' not do it. Even if the game will probably be like, oh, I can't do that. I don't want to risk that. That's crazy. Hold on now. Well, I think I'm going to call it here now that we've done a couple of hours today. A nice solid couple hour chunk. So, yeah, things certainly have hit up here in Stories from Soul the Gun Dog. Intrigue is now high. So next time, we're going to finish exploring these two routes. check the hangar, check what's going on here. Just, get an idea, and hopefully I can formulate a plan. In the last case, I will try to go into thoroughfares, just start walking around there. But I think that's a really bad idea. I think for now we just stick to the areas we can access via these vents is the safe thing to do, I'm trying to think like a sneaky sneak McClane type right now. So we'll figure it out. But anyway, that's it from me for today. If you popped in to watch, either live or watching the VOD, that's much appreciated. I hope you guys had a good time. I'm still having a heck of a good time here. I remember I was saying oh man, how much of this game is left? And, on the other hand, we are getting closer and closer to that new Super Robot Wars, which I definitely do want to also start streaming when we get to it. So I do want to wrap this game up. But I can't also deny that this is frickin' enchanting is the word I was looking for. I love this so much, and a part of me is I love that this keeps going on. This is so exciting. So, let's see what happens as we do our amazing Die Hard tribute here and next time. But for now, thanks for watching, and see you later. Bye-bye!